What's up, Eagles Nation? Welcome back to the channel. And buckle up because today's episode is gonna be fire. We're diving into a full-on mailbag, answering all your hottest takes and sharpest questions about the birds. But before we get into that, let's talk about something that's been brewing behind the scenes. A little friendly rivalry we've got going on over here at Chat Sports. That's right, it's Eagles Now versus the Cowboys report in a full-blown subscriber war. Over the past 7 days, the Cowboys channel managed to bring in 152 new subs. But hey, Philly's not far behind. We've racked up 145. So close. It's neck and neck, and we're not going down without a fight. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's show Dallas how we get it done in Philly. Let's make sure the Eagles soar higher where it counts, right here on YouTube. And look, there's a reason to hit that button beyond just bragging rights. If you're a diehard fan, this is the place to be. Daily Eagles coverage, the latest rumors, in-depth breakdowns, and passionate analysis. Whether it's the offseason or game day, we're locked in on everything going down. In South Philly, I bring it to you live. I bring it to you real. And most importantly, I bring you into the conversation. That's what this channel is all about. When I'm in front of this mic, I aim to be informative, entertaining, insightful, and interactive. That's the core of what we do here. If you vibe with that, if you want to be part of the movement, you know what to do. All right, let's get into it. First up, we've got a question from Adam Greenspan. Which game next year will be the toughest for the Eagles? Man, that is a great question. And honestly, there's no easy answer because this upcoming schedule is absolutely brutal. Like straight up savage. Based on opponent winning percentage from the previous year, the Eagles have the 4th toughest schedule in the entire NFL. And when you zoom in a bit more, it's actually the biggest year-over-year increase in strength of schedule in the league. That jump from 2024 to 2025? It's no joke. Let's take a look at what we're up against, especially in those first 8 weeks. You got the Cowboys in week 1. That's already fireworks, right? Division rivals. And this time, the Cowboys are going to be fired up watching the Eagles raise the Lombardi Trophy banner. You know they're circling that date. Then week 2? Oh yeah, just a little matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, the team with Patrick Mahomes and all those rings? No big deal. Week 3 is the Rams. And we all remember how that playoff battle went down. Revenge might be on their mind. Week 4, it's on the road to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So yeah, the first month is a gauntlet. Dallas, Kansas City, Los Angeles, Tampa Bay. You could argue all of those are potential playoff teams. That stretch is going to test every inch of this roster, from depth to discipline. But it doesn't stop there. You've got the Minnesota Vikings on the road, one of the loudest, toughest stadiums to play in the NFL. And then you've got division games against the Giants, matchups with the Broncos, Packers, and Lions. Detroit, in particular, is stacked with talent. And they're looking to prove that last season wasn't a fluke. Green Bay is no pushover either. Jordan Love's coming into his own, and that defense can fly around. And don't even get me started on Buffalo. Cold weather, hostile fans, playoff vibes. That Bills game is going to be a war. So what's the hardest game? Honestly, pick your poison. That opening game against Dallas sets the tone. Week 2 versus Kansas City is a measuring stick. The trip to Buffalo late in the season could be a survival test. And the stretch in the middle with Detroit and Green Bay might define the season. The good news? If the Eagles make it through this schedule with their heads held high, they'll be battle tested and ready to go come playoff time. Iron sharpens iron, and this schedule is forged in fire. Next question comes from Andrew Nathan, one of our most loyal viewers, always dropping thoughtful takes. He asks about Kevin Patullo, the new offensive coordinator, and whether we'll see a more balanced offensive approach or if the Eagles should keep leaning into the run game. This is a fascinating topic, and there's a lot to unpack here. First off, what's striking is how many players seem genuinely fired up about Patullo getting the promotion. Guys like A.J. Brown and Jordan Mailata have spoken highly about him. And remember, Patullo's been Nick Sirianni's right-hand man ever since they got to Philly in 2021. This isn't some random name. This is a guy who's been involved in every part of game planning and decision-making. At the Super Bowl, Sirianni literally said that Patullo is the first person he runs all his major decisions by. That says a lot about the trust and chemistry between those two. Now, stylistically, what does that mean for the offense? Well, it's tough to say for sure. Every season in the NFL is different. Last year, the Eagles ran the ball around 60% of the time, a clear identity, and it worked. Saquon Barkley was elite. The offensive line was dominant, and the team leaned into that physical ground and pound style. But this year, maybe it's a little different. Maybe defenses stack the box more to try and stop the run. Maybe that opens up opportunities in the passing game. That's where having playmakers like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith becomes crucial. If the run game gets bottled up, you got to air it out. That's why having balance is so important. You don't want to be predictable. You want the defense guessing. Are they running? Are they passing? Are they hitting a screen? Are they taking a shot deep? And with someone like Patullo calling the plays, who's been part of a top-tier offense for years now, I think we'll see a smart mix. It might lean more toward the pass depending on how defenses adjust, but it won't. Abandon the run. That's not Philly football. Carol Hosey jumps in with a question a lot of fans are asking. What's the latest update on Justin Simmons? Great question. And yeah, there's been a lot of smoke around that name. Simmons himself has said he'd love to reunite with Vic Fangio and Christian Parker. And those are two guys now wearing Eagles green. He even told Kay Adams that he'd love to be back with them. And if you listen to Brian Baldinger, you know we love Baldy. He straight up said, get him a house in South Jersey. He's coming. That tells you everything. Simmons makes too much sense for this defense. The Eagles' safety room is young and unproven. Outside of Reed Blankenship, you're looking at names like Sidney Brown and Andrew Makuba. Talented guys, sure, but untested. Simmons, on the other hand, is a veteran presence who knows this scheme like the back of his hand. He's a 4-time second-team All-Pro. He's played in big games. He brings leadership and a high football IQ. Now, what's the holdup? Timing. Last year, Simmons didn't sign with Atlanta until mid-August during training camp. It was a 1-year deal worth around $7.5 million. He didn't have his best year, so his market might be a little quieter this time around. I think Philly could bring him in for something like $4 million, maybe even less if they wait it out. The front office is probably watching closely. They want to see what they've got in Makuba and Brown. If those guys look shaky during preseason, you can bet Simmons gets a call. If they show promise, maybe he's a mid-season insurance policy. But either way, he's on the radar. Let's keep it rolling. Joe Lord asks, how much faith do you have in Kelly Ringo? I like him on special teams, but can he actually step up and replace Slay? That's the big question, right? Can Ringo take that leap? The Eagles clearly believe in him. They've said so publicly. And when I was at the Super Bowl, I heard Christian Parker say he thinks Ringo can be special. Let's not forget, the guy's got the tools. He's 6'1", over 200 pounds, runs a 4.3, has length, physicality, all the traits you want in an outside corner. He can press, he can stick with bigger receivers, he doesn't get bullied. But does he have the instincts, the ball skills? Can he read and react quickly enough at the NFL level? That's what we're about to find out. Here's something crazy. Ringo is still younger entering year 3 than some rookies who just got drafted. He's still got room to grow. That's why I think the signing of Adoree Jackson was a smart move. It's not a panic signing. Sure, it's insurance. You got Jackson, you got options. Cooper DeJean might play outside too. He's got 4.4 speed and versatility. Guys like Mac McWilliams and Eli Ricks can also compete. This isn't a one-man show, but Ringo is in pole position because of his upside. If he puts it all together, he could be a long-term starter. But the leash won't be long. If he slips, there are plenty of hungry guys behind him. Let's jump right back into it because there's still plenty to unpack. Next up, another question from our guy Andrew Nathan. Always bringing the heat. He wants to know if the Eagles are looking around the league for a potential running back to bring in once roster cuts start happening. And honestly, I think that's a legitimate concern. The top of the depth chart is set. Saquon Barkley is the guy, no doubt. He's the bell cow, the centerpiece, and if he's healthy, the offense is going to run through him. But after Saquon, that's where the question marks start showing up. Will Shipley is a player I really like. He's solid, smart, and well-rounded. He's not going to wow you with elite speed or game-breaking cuts, but he's dependable and can catch out of the backfield. I think he can be a strong RB2 if he continues developing. Then you got A.J. Dillon. When healthy, he's a powerful runner, a straight-up bulldozer. But here's the thing. He's coming off a neck injury, and that's not something you brush off lightly. For a guy whose whole game is built around lowering the shoulder and initiating contact, a neck issue is a serious concern. You just don't know if he's going to bounce back to form or if that injury will linger. Then there's the battle for RB4. It's wide open. The Eagles brought in some intriguing undrafted rookies. Guys like Shadrick Powell and Montrell Johnson. Both bring unique skill sets and both flash some upside in college. Are they NFL ready right now? That remains to be seen. But there's a real chance that one of them could grab that final spot on the depth chart. You've also got Avery Williams in the mix. He's more of a gadget guy who can be used creatively on special teams or in certain offensive packages. Then there's Lou Nichols, who frankly hasn't done much to inspire confidence. The Eagles waived Ty Davis Price, which was a bit of a surprise considering his experience, but maybe that was a sign they're leaning toward one of the younger guys or holding out for a veteran to hit the waiver wire. So yes, I do believe the Eagles are quietly keeping an eye on the market. Once those preseason cuts start rolling in and running backs become available, don't be surprised if Philly scoops someone up, especially if they're a proven veteran who can step in if something happens to Saquon. It's not panic mode yet, but it's something to watch closely. Now let's get to this last one that came in from someone who goes by the name Mystery Dragon. Great username, by the way. They asked, would the Eagles be favored to win another Super Bowl list? Yeah, it's a fair question. And when you look at the numbers, the answer is yes. They're definitely still in that top tier of contenders. Let's look at the current Super Bowl odds. As of just a few days ago, the Eagles and Chiefs are neck and neck, both sitting at 6-1 to win Super Bowl 60. That puts them right at the top of the board. Not surprising, right? When you've got a stacked roster like this, a proven coaching staff, and championship pedigree, Vegas is going to respect that. It's actually pretty common that the two teams who played in the previous Super Bowl end up as the early favorites the following season. Just look at last year. The Chiefs and Niners were the top picks heading into 2024. So it's not shocking to see the Eagles in that same position now. They're also sitting at 3-1 to win the NFC and -145 to take the division. All of that despite the brutal schedule we talked about earlier. That shows you how much faith the odds makers still have in this team's talent and leadership. The over-under for wins is 11.5, which is pretty telling. Only 4 teams have that high of a projected win total. The Eagles, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Bills. That's elite company. So yeah, they're right there in the mix. No one's saying it's going to be easy, but the road to another Lombardi definitely runs through Philadelphia, or at least through the path this roster can carve out. And here's the thing, this team is built for longevity. Jalen Hurts is locked in as the franchise quarterback. You got star receivers in A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Saquon brings that next level juice to the backfield. The offensive line is still one of the best in the game, even with a couple of moving parts. And the defense, it's younger, faster, and arguably deeper than it's been in years. You've got blue chip talent at every level, from Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter up front, to Nakobe Dean and Devin White at linebacker, to a versatile and athletic secondary that could surprise a lot of people if the young guys like Ringo and Mukuba develop quickly. There are, of course, a few wild cards. Health is always a big one. Can Saquon stay upright for a full season? Can the secondary avoid injuries that plagued it in the past? Can this coaching staff, with some new faces like Patula running the offense, keep things fresh and adjust week to week? Those are fair questions, but if the answer to most of them is yes, if the team stays relatively healthy and the coaches push the right buttons, then, there's every reason to believe the Eagles can be right back in the Super Bowl hunt. And here's something else to consider: motivation. This group got a taste of the mountaintop. They know what it takes to win, and that kind of experience matters. When the playoffs hit and the games tighten up, mental toughness becomes everything. The Eagles showed last year that they can weather the storm, win gritty physical matchups, and finish strong. If anything, that journey hardened them. They're not a team that's going to fold under pressure. So to answer the question as clearly as possible, yes, the Eagles are absolutely favored to make another run. They've got the talent. They've got the structure. They've got the leadership. And now they've got the hunger to go do it again. With all that said, it brings us to one final thought, a prediction request for all of you. What do you think the Eagles' record will be in 2025? Given the schedule, the roster, and all the offseason changes, what's your gut feeling? Is this team looking at 12 wins again, 13, or will the tougher opponents knock them back to 10 or 11? Whatever you think, drop it down in the comments. Let's see where Eagles Nation stands as we head toward one of the most anticipated seasons in recent memory. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a development that has set the NFL rumor mill ablaze, whispers are emerging that Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson has dismissed any possibility of ever suiting up for the Philadelphia Eagles. While these reports remain unconfirmed, several insiders suggest that Jackson has privately expressed a firm stance against joining the NFC East powerhouse. According to anonymous sources close to the situation, Jackson reportedly stated that he has no interest whatsoever in playing for the Eagles, going as far as to say that he would never consider Philadelphia as a destination, regardless of circumstances. These alleged remarks have sparked widespread debate across social media and sports talk shows, fueling speculation about potential underlying reasons for his apparent disinterest. Some pundits believe Jackson's supposed aversion to the Eagles could stem from stylistic differences with the team's offensive scheme, or perhaps a desire to avoid the intense spotlight that comes with playing in Philadelphia's passionate sports market. Others argue that it may be more personal, possibly related to past interactions with Eagles management or players. However, without official confirmation from Jackson or his representatives, these theories remain purely speculative. What adds further intrigue to this narrative is the fact that the Eagles currently boast a strong roster with one of the league's premier young quarterbacks, making a move for Jackson seemingly unnecessary. Nonetheless, the very idea that Jackson would so emphatically rule out a franchise as prestigious as the Eagles has captured the attention of fans and analysts alike. As the NFL offseason progresses, stories like these tend to gain traction, especially when involving a high-profile MVP like Lamar Jackson. Whether this is simply a misinterpreted comment, a calculated deflection, or a genuine expression of disdain, it underscores the complex dynamics at play when star athletes contemplate their future paths in the league. For now, Ravens fans can breathe easy, knowing that if these rumors are true, Jackson seems firmly committed to staying out of Philadelphia green. Meanwhile, Eagles supporters might be left wondering what, if anything, prompted such a definitive stance from one of the game's most electrifying talents. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.